Relaxed Manchester City players Josko Gvardiol and Phil Foden there, as they would be after a 3-0 victory, but only a couple of games to go in this title race. And Phil Foden mentioned the 2012 season. It feels like we're talking about this a lot more as the season goes on. I think probably because they have that late game against Arsenal late in the season, as the title-winning side of 2012 did against Manchester United, who were their title rivals. Mm-hmm. And the fact that this one could go down to the final game of the season, could be decided on goal difference. It could come down to all these tiny margins. That's why it feels like there are those same parallels.
Yeah, I think it will go down to the last game of the season. I just remember that season where QPR at home, as everyone knows the famous Aguero goal. But everyone talks about nerves and confidence and all that sort of thing. And I just remember being in the dressing room before the game, and I could feel the tension. You know, normally you have leaders in the dressing room where you look to them, and if they're cool, it makes you feel better. At times in the dressing room, it wasn't like that. There was a nervy feeling. And that's why when we talk about can Man City catch Arsenal, I always
were you more like Arsenal in that situation?
We'd never won it before. We'd never won it before, and we was up against Sir Alex Ferguson, the great Man United team. And before the game, I remember looking to my right and Vincent Kompany, and he's normally just in the zone, but he was fidgeting. He was fidgeting. That's what I'm thinking. Is he nervous? And then the game played out. But before that, I had the whole thing of, am I starting? Because I started more than Zabaleta in the season in terms of right back. I got an injury, and then Zabaleta played, and Mancini was very superstitious and didn't want to change it. And I was thinking, when he's writing the names on the board, he's mad because you're looking when he does it to go down, and I'm thinking wait for the Richards. He used the second name, but he went Zabaleta. So I'm raging before the game. I'm thinking QPR. I want to be playing the biggest game in the history for years, and then I was sulking. I was sulking on the bench, thinking I want to be that. And not even that. The way the game went, in terms of Mancini, when it got to 60, 70 minutes, it would always go to 5 at the back. But that game didn't pan out that way. It was, we scored, QPR scored, then they scored again. So he's going to put attacking players, not defending. So I'm on the bench just sulking. And then I was thinking about me. I thought, it's not about me, it's about the team. Look at the effort for the whole season.
Took you a while.
I know, it did take me a while. Then Dzeko scored. And then you start to believe then. And you're thinking, who's a top player who can do something for you? And it could only be someone like Sergio Aguero. And that moment still, you know, I get nervous, I get shivers when I'm talking about it, because I never believe I would win a Premier League. Winning the FA Cup the season before was enough for me. I come through the academy, I missed out on the Youth Cup, got to the final, lost against Liverpool, but then to win an FA Cup, that was enough for my career. To win a Premier League, it was the best feeling ever. And that's why for Arsenal, the similarities are...
mind games here, isn't it? As he's opening
I feel like you should be in the dressing room. This should be you'd be in the dressing room pre-match.
Are you okay?
No, I'm still not okay. I've just got over it now. And then Arsenal on one side are going through that, and there'll be things that they've had along the season where it gets you up, it gets you down. But even with the experienced players that we had, there was always nerves, and that's why if it goes down to last game of the season, anything can happen.
It's the same in every sport, isn't it? You know, you see even the greats, once pressure comes on them, do strange things.
Correct.
I remember thinking about, Rory McIlroy wanted the Masters so badly.
Yes.
And the first time, and he's hit a shot on 13 that was just so uncharacteristic of him. But that's what pressure does. And it's the same with the Premier League. You know, Arsenal want it, the manager wants it, desperation. Yes. And they feel like they climbed the mountain on the Sundays. So anything can still happen. But I'm sticking with it. I just think Arsenal have come this far now. But I love the speech, and I love the mind games, and I fear you, Micah, and you're building it up beautifully to the end of the season.
Let's hope it goes to the last day of the season.
But the other thing was, in that lovely, beautiful story
all I said was, is it like 2012?
But the amazing thing was, he started Zabaleta, and do you know what he did in that game? He scored as
well.
Oh,
just to rub salt in everyone's face.
The manager got it right.
It's why Micah's celebrating in high vis.
Well, let's get back to Phil Foden.
So getting back to Phil Foden.
It's about me, yeah.
There's still 2 more games to go in this season. Manchester City have made sure that they can take this at least, a couple of games further.
This, Kelly, is the assist of the season.
This from Phil Foden is
Micah,
incredible
you love
for Antoine Semenyo. Go on, Micah. You wanted to see a big game from Phil Foden.
The reason why, and I said before we started on the show, is I want him to do so well because he comes through the academy. It means more. So to produce this from the academy, his vision, and then to execute that pass, it's just mesmerising to me. And I know he's not had the best of seasons, but in a World Cup, when he needs something special, he can produce that. And he's not played the best for England at all. But when I see him, like the season he had a couple of seasons ago where he was Player of the Year, and he's just got that magic. And I just wish he could have showed it more this season.
Similarly for Semenyo as well, because that was his first goal in 6 games. He was asked about this assist and said he did mean it. He was just helping it on because he knew where the defender was.
Well, it was an amazing pass from Guardiola to start, but then just, like you said, it was a little bit scruffy. I was happy for Marmoush as well. No Haaland, obviously, today had to step in his shoes, and he played well. I talked about his movement. He's moving, being in the right place, the right time. But then, again, you know what? I don't know if he did mean that, to be honest.
But he's still an assist.
But he only had 3 Premier League assists before today, so you can understand why he's going to take every single one in that situation.
Well.
And it will go down, obviously, as an assist. And that's back-to-back goals for Marmoush, which is the first time he's done that for Man City.
Look how close he keeps that ball to his foot. It's like it's Velcro to it. So good, and he just waits for the perfect time for Semenyo. Look, he just hurdles that challenge there, and then he's off, and it's close to his foot, and his head's up all the time, not looking at the ball. He waits, and just slides that ball through perfectly. That is so good. This guy has been an absolute revelation this season. He's a joy. It was a cameo. I'm not sure how long he came on for, 20 minutes, but some of the things he did were worth the entrance fee for City fans, because we were both waxing lyrical over it. He is just a wonderful footballer to watch. But just going back to Foden and Bernardo Silva today, we're in a day and age in football where people talk about data and they talk about physicality and they talk about power. Those 2 midfield players, it must be the smallest central midfield partnership in the last 10 years, surely. And you played with the great David Silva. But I loved the fact that they didn't out-muscle Crystal Palace, but they outthought them with their brain, with their intelligence, and the way they moved the ball to each other. They intercepted passes. They have no right, those two, to compete in a central midfield area. Normally you say, well, we're trying to pick the team before the game. And I'm thinking, well, surely he's got a bit of physicality in there, the way the game is now. Maybe he goes with, I know we were thinking Aït-Nouri's a bit more attacking or a bit more aggressive, bring him inside, or Núñez comes into midfield. But to go with those two, it was just a joy, because it gave me a little bit of hope, because sometimes the small man in terms of football, but the big brain can win. It's not all about how far you can run and how high you can jump and how many tackles you can win. I thought those two were magnificent today.
But how hard is that to do what them two did without the physical strength?
Yeah, but they don't have to outpower people. They just outthink them. They've got the brain, they've got the football intelligence. The ball comes into them, they're blending it to each other. They knew they'd wait for the pass, they'd suck people in and they'd play round them. They didn't intercept passes, they won headers. They've got a massive... I've always looked at Bernardo Silva, and I asked you a question, where does he rank in the Man City greats? Because they've got a pantheon of amazing players since I talk about this latest era, since Vincent Kompany, if you like. He has to be up there. I don't know where he is in the top 10 or number 1, but it's a really difficult poll, isn't it?
I don't want to disappoint anyone. I'll be getting texts later on, but he's in probably the top 10. Let's not forget Yaya, David Silva, Aguero, Kevin De Bruyne. The list goes on and on.
Yeah.
Even the likes of...
It is heart and desire. You need your Bernardo Silvas, don't you?
I think what's the best about Bernardo Silva, you can put him anywhere. You can put him right back, left back, centre half, centre mid, up front, and his performance levels don't drop. And I think that's because he's so quick with his thoughts and what he wants to do. Technique as well, he's got technique. And he's just been an unbelievable servant to the club. I'm sad to see him leave. Feels like everyone's leaving every year.
Yeah.
Phil Foden at the club, and potentially you put the case for